Absolutely incredible. Absolutely fantastic. I'm talking about Declan Rice. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Lots of controversy to get into. But I tell you what, I'm starting this campaign now. Some of you may have already been on it. We've spoken about it on the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. I think the player of the year this year has got to be a holding midfielder. You could argue Rodri. I think McAllister's been very good for Liverpool, but them falling away at the last has probably prevented that. There's a clear candidate, and his name is Declan Rice. Fantastic today. Goal and assist. Clear man of the match. But it ain't a one-off. It's been going on all season. This is the player that has taken Arsenal from last season, pretenders, to this season, real contenders. I think that he's been absolutely brilliant. And also, look, people will say, well, he's cost £100 million. But it cost £100 million because that's what it was going to take to get an English player out of West Ham to go to Arsenal. The price was probably too much for Rice, if we're being honest. But to fill that value and fill that price tag in your first season and become a fundamental... I mean, look, we always knew this about Declan Rice. We always knew from what he'd done for England and what he'd done from West Ham, there was a very, very good player there. And the reason he's left West Ham to go to Arsenal is because his talent belongs in the Champions League. It belongs in title races. So it's not a surprise that he's gone in and done well, but it's the level that he's played at consistently throughout the season. And in a season where people have had so many injuries as well, and he had a big season last year playing, you know, Thursday, Sunday for West Ham and winning the Conference League, all the England games as well. And yet he has stayed predominantly fit all season for Arsenal and been a fundamental part, like I say, a catalyst in the engine room for that Arsenal team, which defensively, I know they've won today and it's about winning and accumulating points to win a title, but that defensive unit of the centre-backs and Rice in front has been so important for Arsenal. I mean, it's another clean sheet today. So for me, I am saying smash a like on the video, get in the comments, Declan Rice, Player of the Year. It'll be an absolute travesty if it goes to someone in light blue. It has to be Declan Rice. He is head and shoulders Player of the Year. And if he doesn't get it, well, it will fall into the same category of the Premier League brand dying, because it would just be injustice all over. Quickly on the game before we talk about some of the injustices in the game. Arsenal, Bournemouth, you expect them to win. They dominated. Bournemouth probably should have had a goal in the second half, but look at the facts. Look at the game. Look at the stats. Arsenal were the better team, and this is the development of Arsenal. They can look at the Villa game a couple of weeks ago, and that might be the game that costs them the title. But if you look at Arsenal's form across the season, and you look at the way Arsenal have played since Christmas, I mean, it's one game against Villa, and that's going to cost them the title. That's less about how good Arsenal have been, and more about how much of a juggernaut Man City are. You've almost got to be perfect to beat City, because they're so good compared to everyone else. Arsenal, the way they've played this season, should win the league. In any other Premier League season where Man City weren't in it, they'd win the league. But Man City are a juggernaut. They could be winning 6 out of 7. Arsenal, as I said last week, can't really do any more. If they lose at Man United next week, it's not because they've bottled the league. They've done absolutely everything in their power with what they've got to win that league. And if they don't win it, it's because Man City are just a juggernaut. It's as simple as that. What about the injustices, Mark? Well, there were a few. And I think that it's almost like a broken record, but we have to talk about it. You've got to get your comments in below. There's 3 big decisions in there that are just all really wrong. All really wrong. And I just map out 2 or 3 things here in the Premier League. The Premier League is not the best league in the world anymore. We failed massively in all European competitions. So if we're the best league in the world, why are we not into the latter stage of the Europa League, the Champions League? The team that's going to win the league, in my opinion, is going to win it 6 out of 7. And the 3 that are going to get relegated are the 3 that are going to get promoted. How is this the best league in the world? As a brand, it is. And it generates a lot of money, but we're not doing well in Europe. The title race and the relegation race is very predictable. And then the third thing is that the enjoyment for fans is dead. Because when you watch football, you want to feel part of the story. You want to feel that you understand what's going on. That's the great thing about football. It's not a high-scoring game, but it's a fast-flowing game. And it's a game where you can feel like you know what's going to happen. We are seeing countless times this season now, every time something happens with a VAR decision, you're like, I don't know, flip a coin. I don't know whether it's going to be a handball. I don't know whether it's going to be a foul. I don't know whether they're going to... And when a goal goes in, you celebrate, but part of you's like, I don't know whether it'll be given. I might be celebrating for nothing. So the enjoyment factor has been absolutely sapped away by this VAR PGMOL officiating crisis this season. It's disgusting. And people will start to switch off. They will. They won't pay for it. They certainly won't pay for it. Why should you pay for something that's shit? You know, you can only feed people shit so long before they stop eating. And the Premier League's got a big problem. VAR is broken. When you look at it today, number one, that's a red card on Saka. That is a red card. It is reviewed by VAR, no yellow card, drop ball. I mean, it's a foul, it's reckless, and it's dangerous. How do you give a drop ball? It's definitely a foul. And then you move through the next categories of it is reckless, it is dangerous. And the scary thing is we've seen red cards for this all season. And now we're not getting red cards for it. So that was number one. Number two, I want to talk about the Bournemouth goal in the second half because that feeds nicely into what I'm talking about, consistency and what is a red card we don't know. How, as a paying fan, can you see that and go, well, I know that's a red card because we've seen that as a red card before. What? It's not a red card. It's a drop ball. They're changing the rules every fucking minute. Every game and every minute. The Bournemouth goal that gets ruled out for the foul on Raya, massively confusing. First of all, there's a pull on a Bournemouth shirt before that, which was a penalty last night in the Luton-Everton game. So why did VAR not look at the pull on the shirt and just say, this is the easy way out, we'll give a penalty and we'll rule the goal out? No, they don't bother looking at that. They focus on whether it's a foul on Raya. Is it a foul on Raya? I think it is. But I think it's a foul when goalkeepers on corners are getting pushed into. But they changed the rule on that at Christmas. And Arsenal have scored a few corners themselves where they've been barging into goalkeepers. So, again, inconsistency, because I think a goalkeeper should be protected, but that foul on Raya is no worse than loads that have been given over the last few weeks that don't get given. And then thirdly, the penalty. Well, look, if that's a penalty, but it's not a penalty on McAllister in that pivotal title race game at Anfield, I don't know what we're meant to be watching here. Because Doku has a high foot and connects with McAllister's chest. It is reckless. It is a foul. Havertz sees the goalkeeper coming, changes his running style to drag his foot along the ground and hit the goalkeeper's arm and simulates a penalty. It's very clever play by Havertz. But how does VAR not know what the Havertz has done there? And why does it not say to the referee, go and have a look at the screen? It's a soft penalty, and Havertz is very, very clever. But it's the inconsistency. It's just the game. Look, Arsenal deserve to win. I don't want to see Arsenal fans moaning about this because if you lose the title by a point, by the way, you know that push on the back that Gabriel had against Newcastle and you lost? Never a push on the back. Arteta came out. There was talk of suing the PGMOL. If you lose the title by a point, you've lost the title because of bad officiating. So let's not make this about Arsenal fans saying this, that and the other. You should have had a red card. You deserve to win the game. We're not talking about club rivalry here. People need to stop falling into the trap of the Premier League and the PGMOL. They get away with it because fans fall into rivalry and they protect the decision because it benefits their team. Think about me against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago. We got a penalty. I'll take it. Lovely stuff. It wasn't a penalty. It was never a handball. And I said it at the time. We as football fans need to be fighting for what we want football to be, not what our club loyalty is, because one week you'll get away with VAR and the next week it will screw you. This is about the enjoyment of the game, and can you honestly watch a game of football now and understand what's going on and predict what's going to happen and celebrate a goal? No. They are destroying this game, and we've been on about it for weeks. But Declan Rice has to be Player of the Year. Get your comments in below. Give me your thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you on the next one.